Hello, everybody. Welcome to EDUC 5033, Reading and Writing Instruction. My name is Christine Sherritt. I'm going to be the professor for this course. Looked on my list of on the class, and many of you I had last semester, so I'm so glad to have many of you again. So in week one, we're going to talk about the class and get started, and I want you to learn a little bit about what this class is all about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my module and I will make a video every week to go over everything. But the first thing I would like you to do is go to where it says Get Started and then Course Resources and Materials. And when you go there, you're going to see the syllabus and you're going to see Meet the Class Forum. One of the things I'd like you to do is to uh, introduce yourself. I already see Kimberly Moffitt has already done that. And so everyone needs to post a short video of introduction for the class. So if you don't know me, my name is Christine Sherritt. I am a professor here at Southeastern. This is my fourth year as a professor here. I teach undergrad literacy courses. I teach graduate reading courses, and I'm the program director for the literacy program. And I also teach a doctoral class. I have dissertation students. So it's awesome that I get to work with students from undergrad to graduate to doctoral students. This is my 37th year in teaching. And I've done a lot of different things. And throughout the course, I'll share some of those things. But what I'd like to do this week is just kind of get started with the class. So I'm going to talk about Module 1. This is what we're going to be doing this week. And so as I go to the learning objectives, we're going to do that. So in week 1, we're going to be introduced to the 6 language arts. You might be saying, what are those? So this class is basically those 6 language arts. We're going to talk about listening, speaking, reading, writing, viewing, and visually representing. We want to learn how the 6 language arts aligns with the science of reading. And in this week, we're going to review Scarborough's reading rope, the simple view of reading. And what I want you to do is see, how do all of these combine? How does the science of reading, Scarborough's reading rope, and the 6 language arts synthesize all of that? And that's what we hope we could do during this module. So our objectives, we want to analyze and synthesize research supporting the science of reading, Scarborough's reading rope, and the simple view of reading. We want to identify and explain interconnected roles. So in other words, how does listening, speaking, reading, writing, viewing, and visual literacy, how does all that connect? We want to apply theoretical frameworks to classroom instruction. And lastly, we want to reflect critically on your own teaching philosophies and practices. So that's our goals. Now, this course does not have a textbook. It was very hard to find a textbook that covered all the subjects that I needed it to cover. So we're going to have different articles and so forth each week and videos for you to watch. So while that's loading, we have 3 different things to read this week. The first thing is an article called Teaching Reading is Rocket Science. And this is a great article about the science of reading and the importance of teaching reading correctly using the science of reading. And so it has some priorities, and it talks about the science of reading is linked to the love of reading. And so right now, our reading proficiency scores in the United States are pretty dismal. Only about 32% of kids are considered proficient readers. And so it really puts a sense of urgency about how important it is to teach reading. So you're going to be reading this article about teaching reading is rocket science, and it gives some high priority, the top priority ways that we can prevent reading failure. So that'll be really important that you can read. There's another article just that has the 6 language arts, and this is a pretty easy one. This is a website that you'll go to, and really all you have to do this one is this 5 pages. It just introduces you to the 6 language arts. So what are they? So listening, speaking. Some of you like that's I understand all that, but this is just a review of what those 6 language arts are. And then the last thing is an article called What is the Science of Reading? And this is from the Reading League. If you're not familiar with the Reading League, it's an excellent resource. And so with this one, it's 40 pages. I can say when you get down to probably talks about Scarborough's reading rope. When you get to about that where it talks about MTS framework, from there on down, I would not worry about reading that part. I would just read up into, about the first half of it, because that's where it really talks about what the science of reading is. Okay, so you have 3 things to read. And now let's get to your assignment. So this week there's one assignment, not too bad. So what you're going to, and one thing I tried to do is I did just redesign this class. And so one of the things I really tried to do is, since it's about the 6 language arts, I wanted you to have the opportunity to do the 6 language arts and not just have a traditional where you're posting writing every week on your discussion post, but I wanted different things. I wanted you to, for you to be able to use those 6 language arts. So this week you're going to be creating a mind map. You can use, I have different tools. You can use Google Jamboard, MindMeister. There's all different kinds of tools. You can even draw it on a piece of paper and upload it. Doesn't matter how. Electronically, you can draw it, whatever you want to do. And here's basically what I want this map to include. I want you to start with the 6 language arts. So you're going to list those 6 language arts. If you forget them, they're the article, but they're going to be listening, speaking, reading, writing, viewing, and visually representing. So I want you to think about that. And then I want you to, you're going to start with those. I would put those maybe in the middle with spokes going out for those 6. And then I want you to think about Scarborough's reading rope. And there's an article about Scarborough's reading rope. And Scarborough's reading rope, we know you have those foundational skills like decoding and phonics and sight words. And then you have those comprehension skills, background knowledge, verbal reasoning, language structure, and so forth. With the science of reading, it talks about really the 5 big components of the science of reading. You have phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. So what I want you to do is I want you to create a map to show me how all of this connects. How do you connect the 6 language arts with the science of reading and Scarborough's reading rope? Now, what will that look like? I don't know. Everyone's going to have something different. Some connections, I gave you some examples. For example, listening and viewing, they feed into background knowledge, right? When a child listens, when they view information, that supports background knowledge. Speaking and listening, that involves verbal reasoning. It helps kids with syntax and encoding and comprehension and spelling. So that aligns with it. You're going to use arrows to show those interconnectedness. And then at the end, I want a brief annotation explaining those connections. And then just a short caption or legend on your map summarizing the key points. And so again, this isn't a big paragraph. This is just a couple of annotations. So how will I grade it? Let me go over that. I will be I'm pretty thorough about giving rubrics for everything, but let me go over that with you. That's coming up now. Our internet must be a little slow because it's taking a second to download everything. So while this is downloading, here we go. Okay, so the first part, did you clearly and insightfully connect key insights from reading or the videos to the response? In this case, there's not videos, there's just the reading. Did you integrate multiple concepts or perspectives? did you engage with a peer? Because this is a discussion post, so you're going to post yours and then you're going to respond. Are the ideas communicated logically? And then, of course, we want our writing to be very clear. So that first one, clearly connecting. So did you connect the 6 language arts with the science of reading, with Scarborough's reading rope? And how did you make those connections? And did you explain those connections? I know this is a little different of assignment. I haven't done anything like this before. So, but I wanted to see if you could synthesize all of that and kind of see the connections. Okay? Okay. So that's your assignment for this week. Now, I do want to give everybody a heads up because we have a pretty big class for a graduate class. We have 18 people in this class. I did want to let you know that there are 2 weeks that you are going to be teaching, and I want you to teach real people, real kids. Now, if you are not currently teaching in a school, that's okay. You can use your own kids. You can teach neighbors, kids in church. It's up to you. And you don't have to have a large class. You can have one person if you wanted to. The weeks that you're going to be teaching are week 2, which is next week, and week 5. So in week 2, you're going to be teaching a lesson on oral language. And this is where you're going to be doing a read aloud and you're going to demonstrate and model. And again, I'll go over that in more detail next week, but I want you to demonstrate and model how you are going to support oral language through questions and think alouds and how to promote that oral language. And so you'll do about a 15 to 20 minute portion of a lesson. So you'll do a lesson plan, you'll attach the video, and you're going to do a short 1-page reflection. Then in week 5, you're going to do the same thing, but this time you're going to do it related to writing, a writing lesson, a writing instruction. And so that will be the big, those are the 2 weeks that you're going to be working with kids, week 2 and week 5. So I'm telling you that now so that you kind of get an idea about everything. So just as a real quick, I just want to show you a little bit about what we'll be doing in this course. So I already told you in week 1, we're doing kind of the overview. In week 2, we're going to be learning about oral language development, speaking and listening, and that's where you're going to be doing the one video related to the oral language. I'm sorry, that's where you're going to be teaching a lesson on oral language. In module 3, we're going to do viewing and visually representing. And in that module, I'm going to be having you look at your state standards. If you are maybe homeschooling or you teach in a private school, you can use a Common Core standards or something, but you're going to be looking at what are some standards about visual literacy and what do those standards say? And you're going to be doing an activity where you're going to be creating a visual representation of those standards. In week 4, I'm going to be going over a program called UFLY. It stands for University of Florida Literacy Institute. It's a reading program. And I included this because it includes almost all the language arts. And I wanted to show you how one program can include many different language arts. In week 5, we're going to be talking about writing instruction, and that's where you're going to be teaching a writing lesson. In week 6, we're going to be talking about grammar instruction, how to teach grammar. And in this module, I am going to be giving you some writing samples, and you are going to be, I'm going to be giving you a writing samples, and you're going to be telling me what are the grammar mistakes and how you would remediate those. In week 7, we're going to be talking about technology. And in this module, you are going to be reading an article about AI. AI is with us. And so as reading and writing teachers, how are we going to use AI? And I have an article, and you're going to be responding to that article. And then in the last week, week 8, you're going to be doing I'm going to be giving you some a class, and I'm going to give you some data about that class, and you're going to come up with, put those kids into some intervention groups, based on some of the data, and you're going to be coming up with learning centers to support the needs of the kids, and you're going to be using the 6 language arts to do that. So that's a little synopsis of the course. For this week, the course is kind of designed to have a kind of a sandwich. So in lesson 1, module 1, I'll introduce you to the 6 language arts. In modules 2 through 7, we're actually going to go over all of those language arts. And then in module 8, you're going to put all of that together and apply what you've learned to form intervention groups and a strategy, a plan with centers and instruction using those 6 language arts. Okay, so every week, your discussion posts are always due on Saturday, and then the response is due on Tuesday. This week, there's only a discussion post, and that discussion post is the visual representation that you are going to be posting online. So instead of words, you'll just have a visual representation, and then you will be responding to someone else's. That's all I have for today. I'm looking forward to this class, and if you have any questions, reach out. I also wanted to mention that normally I will always have open office hours every Thursday from 6 to 7. Again, every Thursday from 6 to 7, and I will send out a invite for that later today. Thank you very much.